Holy crap, this is going at 300% and it's still 11 minutes, but whatever. I guess you guys can take the torture, and besides, this also gives me time to talk about stuff, because for some reason this takes forever. This is an Uber's battle against, Satan sees Natasha, but not quite Natasha. It'd actually be Sata sees Natasha, Natasha, because, whatever. Doesn't matter. We've got a battle against a guy. It's Uber's, and it's Uber's, yeah. I don't know what happened to my one with the Shark Tamer, but I need to get that one up too. Anywho, Zekrom lead, Groudon lead. What could happen? Many things. What's going to happen? Many things. So, Groudon's just going to sit here and do what it normally does, and that is Dragon Tail, because I figured he would switch, and he did. So, Zekrom comes out, and Zekrom's just like, yo, I missed you. Rain's up now, but I missed you. And I don't exactly know what to do. He's going to switch again into his fortress as I said of Stealth Rock, because I didn't know what he was going to do, because, I just said that. Now then, I've got a bit of a little mess to work out here. So I'm going to go out to my Giratina, as he sets up Toxic Spikes, which isn't too big of a deal, but I guess it could be. And since Rain is up, I know Hidden Power is not going to do anything, so I'm going to switch back to Rough Skin and get the sun back up. Because Rain is a hindrance to part of my team, but not entirely. But thankfully, we have life ahead of us. So go to Earthquake, break his sturdy, he gets up a layer of spikes, not that big of a deal. In the long run, I mean, it kind of is, but it's also kind of not, but whatever. So going to go back out to Giratina, and he's going to Pain Split. He's not going to get back up to full, thankfully. Well, actually he is, dang it. I decide to just go for the Hidden Power and hit him down to his 30 as he sets up another layer of spikes, or if he does something else, I forget which. Yeah, spikes, because he can. And thus, he has set up spikes, and he can wiggle about his little appendages and be like, yo, I'm a fortress, and I'm dead. I'm not much of a fortress now. Now a Kyogre comes out, and it's going to ruin my Hidden Power Fire, but it's not going to ruin everything else about me. So he's going to predict my Draco Meteor because it was blatantly obvious, and I probably should have gone for a Shadow Ball, but whatever. Jirachi is going to try and do some crap, but it's not going to be able to do everything it wants to do because I am clever more than Retriever, sometimes anyway. Going to go out to Rough Skin again because I either think he's going to Thunder Wave or something else. He decides to U-turn for some reason. Because he can. He's a Jirachi. He does not need to listen to the rules. Kyogre comes back out because we are so anticipating the Gen 3 remakes, even though I'm not really, but I'm just trying to make up filler talk here, because, there's not a whole lot going on right now when you're just switching. So I figure he is going to stay in or something like that, so I switch out to my Blissey, because I know Blissey can take Kyogre quite well. Especially when it's a Kyogre with special moves, and not a Choice Band one like I've actually run before for the heck of it, because I was trolling on Shoddy back in the day. But that's not important right now. Ludicolo is out, and it is with swimming, and it wants to ruin my parade. But it's not going to be able to ruin my parade, because it wants to substitute as I wish. Making a wish, and checking it twice. To get some health back would be nice. But I'm not here to make a rhyme, for I would not have enough things to make a rhyme that would actually not be time, because people do that way too often. Not important. Going to break the sub with Seismic Toss, and it's going to not be able to do too much because Ludicolo cannot do that much to a Blissey, because Blissey is a whore, essentially. That's what everybody says. I don't really know. It doesn't look like it would be one of those people that takes sex for money, but whatever. Saying the word whore will probably get me like 20 more views than I usually do, so I guess it'll work out in the end somehow, because we have a thing called the internet where people decide that they need to be immature for quite longer than they should be, and that seems to be popular on the internet too, so, whatever. Now he's trying to subseed me to death, which could potentially happen, but that would take quite a while, and this part is particularly what makes the battle so long. And thankfully there's not a whole lot going on because I'm just talking about a bunch of nonsense as I listen to songs on my headphones so you can't hear them, so I don't get in trouble for uploading music on YouTube. Because we all know that is the devil. Seismic tossing a Ludicolo is not going to get me very far, but I have Wish, so it's not that big of a deal. Now we're both back at full, so we're basically back at where we started. And we both realized we're pretty much not getting anywhere. So we're going to withdraw his... well, he's going to withdraw anyway. He's going to go into Kyogre. Not a big deal, but he's going to get a lot of health back. because Blissy's HP with Leech Seed is pretty much a good amount of healing for everything. Look how much he just went up. It's like 1/3 of his health. Almost. Not quite. Also, Alex, I would not use words that you don't know the meaning of. So I'm going to go out to Fool's Gold now. He's going to Scald and get the burn right off the bat. Awesome stuff. Thankfully I have Heal Bell, but I don't know if I'll be able to actually pull it off again. So I'm going to set up a Reflect, I think, thinking he might switch, and he does. He goes into his... no, I Thunder Wave. That's even better. Anywho, Jirachi is leftovers now that I see, and that is helpful because he's going to U-turn. Not really important, actually, but who cares. I get up my Reflect because I knew he was going to use physical moves. And Zekrom comes out, and I know Zekroms tend to be mixed, and I also know they tend to run Thunder. And I know that Lugia is like the best special ball in the game. Eat your heart out, Blissey, you're not that great, actually. So now Rough Skin comes out, and instead of being regular poison, now it's toxic poisoned, and it's on the PlayStation Network, and it lives in Japan, so it can't actually access the store still, for some reason. So, Groudon is going to try and do something, but it's actually going to die because Focus Blast is a move that is forever the vein of my existence. I think that's the word. I can't remember. I'm not speaking English. Voy a hablar en español. Y I send out that, which is sent out backwards because it looks funny on the other person's screen, but not like that big of a deal. So Kyogre comes out, and Kyogre is going to drizzle itself into death. And by that I mean I'm going to Ice Beam, but it's not like it's that big of a deal. So, going to finish off this Kyogre, hopefully. I actually don't remember what item it has. If it's Scarfed, then it could be a problem, since most of them are Scarfed, but this one's obviously not. It might have had leftovers, I honestly wasn't paying attention. Get a crit with Thunderbolt, probably didn't matter, because Mewtwo is awesome. Mewtwo is like my favorite Uber. It's just so good. It's like every generation, they make it better. And it's a good thing, because Mewtwo is a good Pokemon, and it's good to be using Ubers. It's fun. So I'm going to Focus Blast the Jirachi into Oblivion, hopefully, but since all Jirachis are especially defensive now, it's not going to quite go into Oblivion, but it is going to switch out and go into a different Pokemon, which is a Ludicolo. A Ludicolo. I don't know why I'm saying that a lot, but whatever, it doesn't make a bit of difference. It doesn't make a bit of difference, guys. The balls are inert. So we cannot use the Dragon Balls. So I'm going to go out to Con, which I think I spelt incorrectly, but I'm not sure. But he's going to Scald me, and I'm going to be like, Con! Because I felt like naming this Con. I have no idea why I did. It might have been because I watched The Wrath of Khan recently, but that could also be just a coincidence. So Dragon Claw is going to not happen because he protects himself. He wants to be sure that he's not going to get killed by anything, even though he's faster because of Swift Swim. There's Skype. Hello, Skype. And substituting and Fusion Bolting. I don't want him to get a free sub, and I'd rather use my stab move because we all know how awesome Zekrom is. It's just too bad it's kind of slow, but it's also too powerful for standard if I'm not mistaken. Going to Fusion Bolt again. He decides to not go for the Ice Beam, I think. I don't know. He said that cost him... I think Ice Beam might not have done much more, because in Rain with Scald and Stab, that's gotta be about as powerful, if not slightly more powerful. I don't know. I haven't calced it. Anyways, we're gonna go back out to Giratina, I guess. That's what I'm gonna call it now. I don't actually remember why I called it Tuna. It wasn't because of that, it was something else. But he's gonna go out to his Ghost-type Arceus, and I'm kind of afraid, but I know that I can probably do a lot of damage because I'm running a strange Giratina set. He's going to Shadow Force for some reason, because he's Ghost-type, but I don't know why you'd run Shadow Force. I go out to Blissey, and I'm just going to stay in here all day because Shadow Force is not affecting me. And I honestly don't know why anybody would run Shadow Force unless they were like a noob on the what's it called? Pokemon Battle Revolution. Sheesh. Where people think that if you have a move from an Uber, it's obviously the best move ever. So that's why they have a Spatial Rend and Roar of Time Dialga. So he's going to Shadow Force again. I don't know why. Even if I did switch to Giratina, I would just switch back to Blissey, so it's not like it's that big of a deal. Just going to have to take an Earthquake here, which I think I do. and hit it with a mediocre Fire Blast, because that's the only other move I have that can actually hit him, since we all know that Fighting Type does not affect ghosts, and this is not supposed to be on this team. I just couldn't find the team member that's supposed to be on... Oh wait, that's right. Stupid Shaman changed back into its normal form, so I couldn't bring Skyman, but Skyman doesn't do anything for this team anyways, so... Blissey in this battle does more than Skyman has done in its entire lifetime. Go into Shadow Sneak, get min damage, and not kill it. And now I have to decide what I want to have die. And I think for a while about what I'm going to have die, because I know Giratina could come in helpful with killing this thing, so I decide to sacrifice my Fool's Gold, which I didn't want to, but it doesn't really matter too much, because I know Giratina is essential to victory. Or at least that's what I keep telling myself. He's going to withdraw his Arceus, and I'm going to probably Shadow Sneak, because I wanted to go ahead and kill him off. Do about an eighth to the Zekrom, which isn't terrible, but I don't exactly know what he is at this point. It turns out that he is probably not starved. He's probably starved. No, he's Life Orb. So apparently my Giratina is just slow because I'm running a weird set on it, like I said earlier. Going to come back in, get hit by spikes and everything, but I am faster than Zekrom, so I'm going to kill it with Ice Beam. And his Arceus is going to die from Stealth Rock. So yeah, that was a good game. I don't know if this narration made much sense, but whatever, I'm happy with it. And yeah, make sure you guys always turn off the tub after you're done, or something. I don't know. And don't leave your lights on when you don't need them. Even though that apparently keeps the light bulb lasting longer, because the way light bulbs work. That's 2 points of advice.